Perth, day 4? Asks George. Daniel Chapman asks...
Why do you always look as if you're about to burst into laughter?
I'm a joyful person.
Why?
Why not? Look, we're here in Perth. We're alive, we're breathing.
We're setting the bar quite low there.
You take what you can get.
Yeah, true.
Daniel Chapman asks...
Chappers.
How much of this decision, not sending the test team to Canberra, is driven by not wanting to admit their approach is wrong, and how much is driven by them genuinely thinking that additional practice is a bad thing?
I think it is more the latter, you know. I think they are consistent. I don't agree with them, but they've been pretty consistent on this. They believe in freshness. They believe in not allowing doubt into the mind. Now, I wrote about this a day or so ago, and I thought it was an okay piece. So, the piece that's about doubt. So, I talk in that about an experience I had with McCullum in New Zealand in 23, I think it was, and they were playing a warm-up game under lights. I think it was only a 2-day game. This is the look I mean. It looks as if we're about to laugh, and they stopped playing just as the lights came into effect in Hamilton, and I remember asking him, well, "What's this about?" And he's like, "Oh, they'll just lose confidence if we play under lights." And I said, "But you've got a day-night game coming up. Do you not need to practice?" And, well, you could look at it that way, or you could look at it, I don't want them to lose confidence ahead of the test, right? So then they go to the test. They declare after 58 overs on day 1. I mean, I'm going out of my mind watching it. But then they win, and they take 3 wickets in 18 or something overs that night under lights, and they beat New Zealand. So he's been consistent, and it has sometimes worked. What I would argue is that they were caught cold on a bouncy track in Perth. They played shots that suggested they didn't know how to adapt to that bounce, and Brisbane's going to bounce too, so there might have been an opportunity to play again in Australian conditions, but who knows what the surface in Canberra is going to be like. So instead they're going to go to the nets in Brisbane. Now they might only start on Monday, they might start on Sunday, they could start a day earlier than they planned. And the nets in Brisbane are usually quite quick and good and like the test surface. So it's not completely without logic. But the greater, sorry, I feel I've spoken forever already, but the greater context is, they believe in pressure off, camaraderie, good feeling, all that stuff. And I think that stuff does matter. In fact, I think it really matters. But I also think that hard work, technique and training matter, and I don't think they're getting the balance right, is my own view. But I don't want to pile onto them right now because I sort of understand this specific policy, and I kind of get it without completely agreeing with it. I hope that makes a bit of sense.
Socially Silent asks, what does Crawley need to do to get dropped?
In the slips, who knows? I think he's going to keep giving them chances though, and I suspect they'll keep taking them. I was talking about this to the guys at the game at the Lilac Hill yesterday. I reckon, genuinely, if he got a pair in the next game in Brisbane, he'd absolutely be picked for Adelaide for the 3rd test. So they've committed to him, and that's not a bad thing. You know, you don't want people to be looking over their shoulder, but again, there's a balance. And the fact that you're asking that question is interesting. This is his make or break tour. They've put a huge amount of investment into him, and it started very, very poorly.
I think they'll give him every possible chance.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't be absolutely sure that if he got 3 pairs in a row, he wouldn't play at Melbourne. No, genuinely. What do you think?
I agree with you. How many pairs is
4.
too many?
4.
4.
If he gets 8 zeros in a row, I don't think he'll play at Sydney. I think they'll be decisive and they'll strike. But look, they like him and they like what he does. And again, it's not ridiculous. I would have picked on Sibley, but I'll make no bones about it. I would. But it's not ridiculous. He does have a punch on him. He does play fast bowling pretty well, but he didn't show that at Perth. And I feel he's a victim up to a point because I don't think the preparation was adequate. And I also don't think this coaching regime have been fair in that they have said, you're brilliant, focused on your strengths, and actually I think they should have focused on his weaknesses as well. But this is all in my piece about doubt.
You're just one big spruiking machine today.
I'm talking a lot, aren't I?
Yeah. What?
But it's called Ask George.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
That's
so
why I'm letting you run on. Simon Landau asks, Given South Africa are currently wiping the floor with India in India, like New Zealand did last year, does this make England's 2-2 draw this summer look even worse?
Just a little reminder that England, I think, needed 60 or 70 to win with 7 wickets in hand at the Oval. And if you go back through some of those wickets, I mean, do you remember Harry Brooks' shot? I mean, he played brilliantly, yeah? But it was a massive slog across the line. Do you remember Jacob Bethel's shot? Again, we'll cut him some slack because he hadn't actually batted. We were talking about this, whether he should still count. You know, if you've got to be in the country for 180 days to qualify for tax or not. Well, if you've played so little cricket, do you still qualify as a professional cricketer? Because I think he's a drinks waiter at this stage. Anyhow, they played very poorly there. But I'm going to go back to the India tour. And I got quite a lot of flack at the time for saying that England had missed a huge opportunity, but they did. Rajkot. I felt India were there for the taking. Joe Root hits the start of the day. Ashwin's off the pitch. He tries to hit Bumrah over the offside, you know, reverse scoop, all that. Reckless stuff. They lose that by, I think it was a record margin actually in the end. And they lose the series. And I remember Ben Stokes saying at the end, we were never going to win in India. Now that worried me. And here we've seen that actually it's not that nobody wins in India. Everybody else wins in India, apart from Windies, obviously. But, you know, New Zealand went and won 3-0. South Africa could go 2-0 up in the next 24 hours. I mean, you know, a lot could happen. But, yeah, oddly defeatist. This is the thing, the hype and the reality are not matching at the moment with this England setup. But hey, it's only 1-0, not 7-0. There is a bit to go.
All I'll add to that is that, I mean, England played some really good cricket in that series against India.
Yeah, they did.
So, particularly that at Headingley, I thought.
Yeah, India are good.
They are good. I also think, I think there are a lot of people who kind of underrate South Africa a bit, shall we say.
People are going to think you were buffering.
I do think people underestimate South Africa a bit. They are the world test champions, you know. So New Zealand was an incredible win. So I just think it needs to be tempered a little bit, not like, so we're not just saying, oh, even South Africa can win. I'm sure that's not what you were saying, Simon.
An understrength South Africa.
But it is an understrength South
no
Africa.
Rabada.
Yeah. But they're a better side, I think, than sometimes people give credit for. And you go back to, you know, how they got to the World Test Championship and everything. But look, England did play some great cricket, I felt, in that series against India. So I don't think it takes away from it.
But it's about winning.
But let me finish.
Sorry.
He does this all the time. Yeah. It's the way that we saw here in Perth and we did at the Oval that they do some really great stuff to get themselves into a strong position. And you just sort of want to say, okay, this point here, you're in a good spot. You can win from here. Just like make the good choices. And no, they didn't make the good choices. And they've done it before.
People do message me on Twitter, X, in particular, and say, you got it all wrong. I'm finding England more entertaining than they ever have been. And you know, that's not how I look at it, but people do say that to me. So there are different views out there.
Andrew Bevan asks, do England's bowlers need a new fitness coach or more overs in their legs, more multi-day cricket?
It's interesting because they obviously lost pace quite heavily in the second innings, and they only had, 35 overs between spells, although they'd only bowled a few overs in the morning on day 2. I think there's a point there. I think you make a point, actually. While respecting that the batters need to give them more time off their feet in general, I thought this for years with Jimmy Anderson and co. Are they playing enough cricket? Yeah, I don't think they are.
It's a good point. So, because I was watching the speeds throughout, and it was interesting to me that Mitchell Stark's speeds also dropped in the second innings, but only by maybe 3 an hour, 3 kilometres an hour.
Also, he was bowling slightly
differently.
In the second innings, he got swing, and he was trying to swing it. And in the first innings, he was bowling wobble seam, which he bowled slightly weirdly.
I guess the point is, when he drops, it's not significant, whereas the England
he might have bowled more overs, I don't know.
Yeah, but my point is, he doesn't drop by much. No. Whereas England's bowlers, when they drop off, they drop off a lot.
They did this time, and you know, the days of Anderson and Broad, that wouldn't have happened. So I think you're onto something there. I think that maybe the balance again isn't right between training, playing, fitness. Yeah, I think there's something there.
Kevin Framp asks, do the team have any conception of how badly they have let down travelling fans who have shelled out thousands of pounds for the trip of a lifetime?
So I went on a long walk earlier and I was very struck by some of the conversations, or a couple of conversations, from England supporters who were angry, not just disappointed. I was surprised by it. I think that the England team will be feeling this intensely. I think they know it. They might have wanted to vocalise that. I just think they missed a trick. Ben Stokes had said, and I know he'll be feeling this, if he had said, do you know what, I'm really sorry. If he'd said, I'm sorry, I think we let you down a bit, we'll be right on it next week and we'll try our best to rectify it, I think he'd have had people eating out the palm of his hand. And I think he means it. I think he does. So I think he should have said it. And I think they maybe could have gone up to the stands where the supporters were and just acknowledged that they have been there and spent a lot of it. So I'm pretty sure that they hugely appreciate the incredible support they have here, and I expect they're embarrassed by how it went. And it's difficult, you know, when you're embarrassed or awkward.
I think it would be really difficult to go out onto the pitch.
Really
and
difficult.
Go over, and I think they probably had other things on their mind.
They
at
did,
that moment.
but I'm sure it would have been appreciated. And I'm also sure that they'll win supporters back over if they win in Brisbane, for what it's worth. But there is a lot of hurt, and I get it because it's eye-wateringly expensive to come here. And it's not just about money, it's about the time and the hope and the manner of dismissals. You know, so I feel your pain, I really do.
And yet there you are, like, saying I'm buying everyone drinks. Danny asks, if none of the matches go beyond the third day, how much do you think it will cost Cricket Australia in their next TV rights deals?
Every cloud.
Well, it's already cost them more than $3 million. And remember, well, I don't know if you remember at home, because I don't know if you pay much attention to Cricket Australia's finances, but they did, I think it was 11.3 million, the loss that they announced at their AGM not that long ago.
Maybe they should enable England to get better warm-up periods. No, really.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe they should. So
yeah.
they were thrown out. They weren't thrown out. I hear they were donating not thousands, but tons of food. If you think of all the food that's been wasted.
Yeah.
There was a festival arranged for outside the stadium yesterday. Apparently it had taken people a year to organise.
Yeah, wineries from the Margaret River.
On the bright side, I guess, the homeless population of Perth is stuffed right now.
Oh, but
I mean, there was masses of food being given away, and that's, a silver lining again, I suppose.
But your point about the TV rights, it can devalue. They're all banking on this series to redress the lean years that they have. So they work in a 4-year cycle. Last summer with India here and this year with the Ashes was supposed to be the really lucrative years that helped shore up Cricket Australia. So it's going to hurt. Broken Cricket Dreams Cricket Blog, hello, asks, is Usman Khawaja's career approaching an end? If so, should he get a farewell test in this series? Farewell test? You don't get farewell tests.
It's not a village game. I mean, he might deserve that and everything, and he's been a fantastic cricketer and a role model and a statesman and all that stuff. So if it's the end, he goes with a lot of respect and a terrific career, but you don't get a farewell game.
Well, in a way, that's part of what led to this situation with Australia needing to find an opener, because they sort of allowed David Warner to dictate the time of his own passing, if you like.
Yeah, although 48 hours ago, I still thought it was possible that David Warner might say, oh, Australia, I'll come back and help you if you need me. I don't know why I just said it in that voice. When he talks, I don't know if you've noticed, he sounds a little bit like Mike Tyson. He's got an oddly high voice and somewhat sibilant.
Yeah, I do. I haven't
And
noticed.
I wouldn't say it to either of their faces.
Well, it's not an insult. People
Do you think he's a watcher
voices.
of this?
No, definitely not.
Well, definitely not.
Definitely not.
On my run in Coogee, I always run to his house and turn round.
That's weirdly stalker-like.
It is a bit stalker-like.
It's
So
really
if
stalker-like.
you see a very sweaty man outside your window in the next few weeks,
you know who it is. Usman Khawaja has had a brilliant career, and I think people have been almost piling on him a little bit unfairly. There was all the stuff about the golf the day before. I mean, players do things in
there's
the
an agenda
days
against
before.
it there. It's pretty obvious. From some, a minority.
Yeah, and so I think that's really fair. He didn't have a good test, obviously.
look, to have a problem in both innings.
It's not good, doesn't look good. And I think they will stick with him.
Do you?
For the next test.
Do you?
If he's fit. If he's fully fit, I do suspect they might stick with him.
But he's not fit though, is he?
Well, if he's not, then they obviously won't.
Yeah.
But he'll have to be fully fit. He'll have to show it.
Well, these things aren't binary, but...
No, they're not. But I kind of think that they won't just drop him. And I just think that they should stick with Head.
We are that far from George Clooney saying he's not the Usman Khawaja I met a few months ago.
But Head coming in, as I was saying, it opens up all these opportunities. They can bring Josh Inglis in down the order. He's just scored a century against the Lions, really at more than a run of ball as well. They can bring Bo Webster in. It kind of does open up a lot of possibilities. I know you don't like two left-handers up the top. They've got that anyway.
I think it's a risk against
it is
Archer,
a risk.
yeah, but I mean, it worked well the other day.
Yeah, I don't know, but I actually kind of really like Travis Head, and it's kind of ironic that they spent 2 years looking for a solution that perhaps was just in front of them all along. So there you go.
Someone to write a piece about that.
I did. Please go and read it and be nice to me.
Very good.
Unlike him, we'll see you
imminently.
sometime.